Hi everybody, this is Alchemist2, and I'm back again with another anime review. Recently, I had decided to watch the entire series of Casshern Sins. I can remember this when it was aired on Adult Swim, and originally, if I just look at the table of contents, the last episode that I had watched was, I think it was Flower That Blooms. Yeah, the flower that blooms in the Valley of Ruin. And I have to admit that there are a lot of emotions washed over me when I watched the series originally. And I thought episode 18 was rather odd because it's more like a filler episode than anything else. I mean, it does describe something about Liuze that we all suspected in the very beginning, had we been watching from the very first episode. I'm not going to give that away because it would be a huge spoiler. I have to say that I both liked and disliked the series. I know that sounds kind of odd. I like it because it's an apocalyptic sort of vision of the world once this plague occurs called the Ruin. And basically, I think that the people that are living in this day and age in this particular series are androids. And the plague is just oxidization. But it's just the certainty of death. That whole idea is very intriguing, and it's rather disconcerting. It's sort of the thing that I'm going through with my grief and loss class, is being reminded of your mortality. It's not something you want to think about day in, day out, but I have to say that it's not really a frightening notion, but you've got a lot of different symbolisms that are occurring here. And you've got different threads that are weaving throughout the entire tale of Casshern Sins. And the original series just, I think it was just called Casshern. I mean, he's a pretty well-known character around Japan. But here, this is just our introduction to him. I don't think that the original Casshern was ever released in the States. I don't know. If it was, I can't find a copy of it because this is just the addition to that. And the whole story is about this savior character named Luna. She supposedly, according to the rumors that have been going around, she has the ability to heal the plague known as the Ruin. This whole idea of a messianic character is rather fascinating, I think. But it just gives this whole idea of hope and promise, and people making their own hope, basically, and living for something beyond eternity. Eternity seems a rather lonesome concept, I think. I think that's demonstrated through Casshern himself, because he doesn't have the ruin. There are a lot of deaths that occur in the series that are just heart-wrenching to watch, and one of my favorite characters dies early on in the series. I mean, she's only introduced in one episode, and she dies a horrible death, and it's terrible, and I cried like a little baby. Another character that I really enjoyed, I really liked, dies later on in the series. And the ending I thought was kind of disappointing, but I have to say that the series itself, I did enjoy it. The thing I didn't like it was that there was some deliberateness to it. It was just kind of slow. There's plenty of action, granted. There's a lot of fighting, and the plot is very labyrinthine, and it's really incredible. And it's just a different apocalyptic look at the world, the technology, and all that similar kind of idea. If technology gain control in the world, and the vision of that, the whole idea of immortality, death, life, rebirth, conviction. That's another thing that interweaves itself throughout this particular series. And then the whole idea of innocence and faith of that of a child, and just how incorruptible a child is. And that would be the character of Ringo, who I absolutely love. I just thought that she was such a likable character, and her perspective is really incredible. She was really a remarkable, phenomenal, beautiful character, and I just love her. Her ending just made me feel optimistic and gave me hope and inspiration and motivation. I thought, wow, all people should think like this. But, you know, everybody's different, so we can't force people to think one way or the other. There has to be freedom, and I think that she represents freedom. The whole series itself, I'd have to give 3 stars to, because the animation is really lovely. Some of the subject matter is a little bit dark and ominous. Some of it is a little bit disconcerting to watch. Episode 18, I do believe, which is the filler, is very unusual, because you learn something about Liuze that, if you're like me, you probably would have suspected it all along from the very beginning, thinking, yeah, I thought that, and I caught that. You can't hide it from me. I am faster than you are in my thought process. But the whole idea of that episode was just it was kind of redundant, I felt, and I didn't think that it needed to be there. It just felt like it was awkward, and there was some live action in it as well that made it seem even more out of place. So that was the only episode I really didn't care for. Later on, when you have more of what you really like, the action and adventure involved, just the fight scenes were very reminiscent of Fist of the North Star for me. I don't know why I'm thinking of... No, Fist of the North Star is definitely more violent and flippin' awesome. I really love Fist of the North Star. I know, coming from a lady of my caliber, that might seem a little bit strange and unusual, but he has very good reasons for fighting. The main character in that series does. And that, again, another apocalyptic future. It's similar, but different. This is more about technology, and I like Marco. His character has the same kind of perspective I do. He's an optimist. Unfortunately, something very sad happens to Marco, as usual. It always happens to my favorite characters. I don't understand why. The thing about this anime is you can't get too attached to the characters. Let me just put it that way. The ending I thought was understandable, but rather, I don't know. It was very up in the air, and I just thought, why? Are they going to make another series, or what's going to happen? It was kind of a letdown, I felt, because I was for sure that there was going to be an epic showdown of some kind, and it never happened. There are quite a few things that are revealed about Luna, which are very interesting. But despite all that, despite this relationship that I have with the series, it's mostly that of enjoyment. The other part is of just the whole disturbing nature of it. I still give it 2 thumbs way up, but it's a rather different look at a post-apocalyptic world, and that there is hope. There really is hope in this. I mean, they just go through so much pain, destruction, and fighting, and strife, and just all these different elements that make it very emotional to go through. But Casshern Sins is a good series despite all this. And overall, I did like it. I did enjoy it, and I am putting it in my collection just because I love stories that are like this and involve androids. I've always been interested in the idea of artificial intelligence, and I actually have the movie Artificial Intelligence, and I haven't watched it for years, but I will review that in the very near future at some point in time, once I can find it. But I have to say that the series is enjoyable, and it has so many different feelings involved in it. It is quite the emotional roller coaster ride, but it is well worth it. The only thing I really didn't care about it, other than that episode itself, 18, was the ending. The ending just didn't please me in any way, shape, or form. I thought, ugh, that was just a cop out. Come on. That's ridiculous. Give me something that will make me happier camper. But it's just Casshern's way. So I accepted it, and I thought, yeah, that's something he would do. It's all in his character. It makes sense. So I think that's where they're going to end the series. I don't think there's going to be another series. It's basically all I have to say about Casshern Sins. And good news this week, unless you haven't caught my Facebook. My father's home. He is currently on the mend. He'll have to go through physical therapy, and he'll have in-home oxygen. Other than that, he will have to really recuperate in about the next 4 days. He's still got a little bit of that upper respiratory issue. He had, pardon me, he had pneumonia, which luckily I caught in time, or he wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be talking to you about him. So fortunately, my deductive reasoning led me down the right pathway. I'm just happy that he's back home and definitely healing. So I will keep you up to date on Facebook. I won't do it here. I just do reviews here. This is where I do my reviews. But that's basically all I have to report for now. So I don't know when I'll be seeing Identity Thief or Die Hard. It might take a while for me to actually get to the cinema with my dad's condition the way it is. We had to wait for him to heal, but he did promise me that we would see those films together, and he really needs a comedy right now, or an action adventure. Either one. These would be great escape films, so I'm really looking forward to seeing both of them in the near future. So stay tuned, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Ciao!